Ladies and gentlemen, hello, welcome back to another episode of The Watchable with me, yo. Jean-Luc Ortiz, right, make some noise. Happy, let's get excited wherever you are. We're back, we're here, we're excited, and we're gung-ho, talking about the world of boxing and beyond right here with you all on this Thursday afternoon. Had some camera trouble, I had to make sure everything was adjusted so I look good and pretty, but now we're here, we're back doing what we do best, talking about the world of boxing in the wider landscape of the sports world as a whole. And we got a lot to talk about today on the backs of Against You, in the lieu or in the lull of everything with Boots and the fight with Lima that happened last week that has everybody talking. Now we gotta ask, just point blank period, hey, are we underestimating Boots, or excuse me, underestimating Virgil Ortiz with all the talk that we've been having about Boots and it's coming in to this week with the whole knockout aspect? And am I jumping the gun on the I guess hype circumstance? Some of y'all brought it up. It's a great topic of discussion to go in and revisit and also just delve into to answer the question, hey, do we need to just straight up say, you know what? We might be throwing Ortiz a bad bone in his chance to win this fight. And this buddy is actually somebody that can stop this whole train that we see Boots going on in terms of the trajectory for his career. Definitely, we're going to talk about that, as well as, again, as you see in the thumbnail, some news with Tank Davis, in the words of Clarissa Shields. More specifically, talking about Tank in the sense of his ability to beat the rest of 135, even beyond just Shakur. Should we be looking at it as a lot more shaky and rocky from the standpoint of there's more than just one brother now that can beat this cat in that division of 135 when it comes to the elite of the elite, with the reputation that Tank has had as a dominant force in the division, especially with all the rhetoric that's going on around him now with this whole Jake Paul situation. We're going to talk about it as well and much more on this show for today. Please, or rather not please, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. If you haven't already, leave a like on the stream. Hey, come on, leave a like on the stream. Comment your thoughts and opinions on the channel down below in the chat, or comment your thoughts and opinions on the show down below in the chat, and we can bring them up on the screen with you all day. Like with me. Hey, brother, glad you're back. Glad you're here tuning in with us on this Thursday. Thank you for tuning in. We so appreciate you all coming in as I take a sip of water and having all the energy and fervor for this show today. Anybody else who wants to tune in to have your voice in the conversation, let your voice be seen by the world, hey, keep on chatting, keep on commenting, and we can bring it up right here on this show. Also be sure, leave a like on the video, comment thoughts and opinions, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and share the show with everybody that you know. Oh yes, so we can keep on building up this empire together, all with you and your support. We can make this thing grow bigger, better, and grander, all for the world to see, and us to live up to the moniker of the hottest show in all the globe, right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform imaginable. Also be sure, let's do a series Spotify platform, and the Apple, Spotify, you name it, we're there. And if we're not tell us. We'll get there absolutely. But again, we got boxing cover. We got sports to delve into, and we got your comments to talk about. So without further ado, because we're already starting late, it is time for us to get going. Talk about the sports. We'll talk about boxing and just step into the ring. Yeah, buddy. Ring the bell. Let's get it started. Round one of this show going underway. As first and foremost, we had to talk about the topic of it. Virgil Ortiz, underrated, versus Boots Ennis. In talking about this fight that is looking to be the next step in the careers, both of the careers of some of the most dominant and dangerous fighters now at 154. But let me see what you all got to say first in the comment section. Let me see. Made, what you got to say? Man, when I get my organization where I want it, I need Welch commented some fights. The passion is unreal. Hey, man. Hey, look, speaking of working together, we got some stuff in the works. Hey, we ain't gonna give out too many details. But part of the reason we starting late in some of these shows, we handling some business. We getting some dineros in order. We getting some moolah for you lot. Well, actually, no, for me lot, not for you lot. For me lot in the works to be able to get ready to make some shifts and changes and to work independently with some people. So hey, keep it locked. Oh, you give me just a couple more weeks, and we're gonna shoot maybe even a couple more days. And I promise you, we're gonna be ready to do whatever I need to do. And if you need me, hey, hit me up. We got emails. So I'm trying to get sponsored. We're trying to work with businesses. We're trying to do what we do. We got some plans. Absolutely. And if you need somebody to comment or do a live show, hey, brother, let me tell you something right now. You ain't going to find nobody any better to entertain the masses than this brother right here and this community right here on this show. So, hey, you get your stuff together. Hit me up. We can see if we can make some stuff happen. Absolutely. But again, I digress. We can talk about business later. Also, you can email me on, I think I got my business email for the channel somewhere here on YouTube. I can't remember. So if you want to do something, hey, reach out. Let's see what you got. Let's see what's proposed. I'm now, granted, gotta get better to read my email, so might not get it. Might not get a response till a little bit later, because I got a lot of stuff going on right now in the background when I'm off the camera, but still, let's do some stuff together. Hey, look, I'm gonna get to you. I promise. Just like with the comment section, I'm not trying to skip nobody. Might take a little bit of a second, but I will get to you. I promise you. But again, I digress. We need to go and talk about the topics of the day, which is, again, Virgil versus Boots. Come on, let's get to it. Let's talk about it. We need to discuss the likelihood, or rather, the likelihood is the wrong statement. We need to discuss my framework and thinking in regard to this fight with Virgil Ortiz against Boots. Now, I have said, in my own volition, I feel that Boots is the best talent at 154 right now. I said that before he even made the move up. I also said he needed to prove it when he gets to the division to see, okay, can you still be what you are? We gave context to the fight with Lima. You can go see that show that we did on Tuesday right here on the channel. Phenomenal show. I think you'll enjoy it. But even still, we discussed the context of Lima, number 10 ranked, absolutely, where he's not high in the elite of the elite, but again, he's got a rank that we had to give some level of respect, and we wanted to see if Boots can be the fullest of Boots that we've seen in the past. He passed that test with flying colors, did what he was supposed to do, beat who he was supposed to beat, and handled his business against a brother who he was supposed to handle his business against in a very dominant fashion. More dominant than I even gave him credit for. Hey, the questions I had for what I needed to see in that fight got answered. So, boom, I'm high on Boots Ennis. Some people call me a fan. Some people call me a fanboy. I still try to keep it as even keeled as possible. Do I see him being a legit dominant threat for years to come? Yes, I do. But I also understand he still has to prove it, like we say with any of these fighters getting into this regime and stepping up in the framework of the elites in this boxing game. There's no problem with that. But in lieu of that conversation, we might have been talking in a manner that might have thrown Virgil Ortiz under the bus a little bit, and we might have talked in a manner that was indicative of the rest of the boxing populace in looking at what Boots is as a fighter. Because again, there's a lot of hype. There's a lot of shine. There's so much intrigue on one of the hottest stars in boxing today in Boots Ennis, and many people are saying some of the same stuff. Can't nobody stop him. Can't nobody beat him. There's not going to be a challenge up there. He's going to be able to do what he needs to do, even in this deep division of 154, which is still one of the most destructive murderers roles that anybody in boxing has to go through right now. Though the activity of some of them in terms of fighting each other, we are starting to get a little bit antsy with. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. Only person that's been fighting a good chunk of people in this division for the most part, Fundor, at least the recent, has been the most active and it's faced up against, again, now it's also facing Keith Thurman. Before that, faced off against, what's his name? Tim Sue. Then faced off and beat him again. And so he's been consistent, but Buckwalk, nowhere to be found. Virgil Ortiz has had questions about when is he actually going to get a title shot. You've been mandatory for oh so long. Even though, yes, he did beat Madrimal. Good win. Great win. No problem with that. But even still, the noise of, hey, you've been interim for long enough and we should see you vying for a title in some way. Where's the push to get what you need? That has started to come up against the likes of Virgil Ortiz. And all this movement and also lack thereof of some of the biggest contenders at this division, as well as some of the questions with Errol Spence Jr., well as some of the questions with Charlo now at 154, with now the questions of Boots. Well, not questions, but more so with added to the hype of Boots, getting hyped up as a bulldozer in this division, hypothetically. Now as everybody's saying, well, this new cat's casting a large shadow over the rest of the division, and now everybody's got to deal with him instead of the other way around, and him, in terms of Boots, having to deal with everybody else. That has hurt the cachet to some degree in the talking points of Virgil Ortiz, so we need to address it. And I want to hear from you all. As you all keep commenting, chatting, discussing everything in the show, I want to hear from you all definitively. Hey, do you think that Virgil Ortiz is going to be able to stop Boots' momentum outright if this fight did happen next? Because that's the question of the day. Hey, that is the full-blown question. More than just, has Boots proved a point? More than just, is Boots truly ready for that type of test? More than just a conversation of, well, is Boots Ennis truly going to be the destructive menace and the hype and the further down the line reign that we can see this about to achieve all the way till 2030? Who knows? But for this fight right now, we need to get some answers done. And we need to have a real conversation. Hey, straight up, does Boots does he beat Virgil Ortiz right now? Because we're at that point where it is right now. There's no more waiting around, waiting and seeing, conversating. We can put all the hype talk on the back burner. We can put the trajectory of Boots' career. We can put that on the back burner right now. That's not the issue. The issue is right now, brother, can he beat this cat? For all the hype and circumstance, we've had people on both sides of the fence. Virgil's going to stop and knock out Boots. Boots is going to go through and run through Virgil Ortiz and show he's arrived. It's going to be a competitive test. It's going to be Boots on the floor. It's going to be Virgil put to sleep. It ain't going to be close. We've heard litanies of discussions and pinpoint, or rather opinions, all throughout the week. When we weren't even talking about the fight directly, just the potential of, oh man, we can't wait to see it. But hey, no time like the present to start addressing some real situations. And this is a real situation. We got to ask the question. We're going to probably break it down, give you a full-blown breakdown, like I always do once that fight does get announced and as it gets closer. But as of today, does he beat him? And is the opinions of Boots beating Virgil Ortiz steeped in the fact that now, with the hype of Boots, Ortiz's talent is getting underestimated and underrated for the wider boxing world as a real force of obstacle to go against this looking to be. Fast bullet train that's coming down the track in terms of Boots Ennis. So I want to hear from you all on your thoughts on the topic. As I'm just real quick trying to make sure I got my notes in check for the rest of the show. We're still trying to keep stuff in order. We're still trying to keep stuff on the up and up. But even still, like it's a question that needs to be asked, because part of the detractions of Virgil Ortiz has been the lack of accolades. And he's been, we're going to be real, since the entirety of 154 has really come into its own as a behemoth in the sport of boxing as we know it right now. Everybody looking like a big threat. Everybody can get beat at any point in time. Virgil's been the most consistent name that's been at the top of the list, and understandably so. Well, I'm not calling his talent into question as a fighter. His record is real. When he fought against Boachuk now, or when he fought against Boachuk in that fight of the year, hey, he came back from adversity and beat him. Got knocked down twice, got up and kept on pushing. Has one of the highest knockout ratios in the division right now. He's 20, I want to say he's 27 and with 24 KOs, but I'll quickly check that while I'm talking. But essentially everything about Virgil Ortiz was indeed, he's 23-0. My apologies, 23-0. 21 knockouts on his resume, 91% knockout ratio. At least if we were going to do the math according to box rate. But even still, with all this happening, though he's seen as most likely the most respected fighter in the division, the fact that he's only been interim champ and he's been this much of a boogeyman of sorts, and because he's also 27 years old. At this same age, again, Boots being 28, though Boots is, Boots just turned 28, excuse me. No, has he been 28? How old is he? They're both around the same age. With Boots coming into the division, already a unified champion as well, with Sebastian Fundora making the moves he's been making at 154, going through and getting belts, winning belts, defending belts, and evolving. It's some people looking at Virgil Ortiz and saying, hey, is he really worth the hype? Is he really worth the pomp and circumstance we've been giving him? Is he, especially also with what now we don't do, but triangle theory doesn't work absolutely. We're not trying to say, oh yeah, because somebody lost to somebody and you did this to somebody else, oh that means you might be in trouble going against XYZ opponent. We're not saying that. But some of the stuff that he's been fighting, like with Boachuk, when Boachuk fought Adams, and Adams beat him, this time for the second time, even more definitively than the first time, my estimation. Even though, first time he knocked out Boachuk. The second fight, he went and completely outboxed him and beat him straight up for 12 rounds, or 10 rounds, excuse me. So, that win for Adams against Boachuk potentially soured some of the outlook on the fight that Ortiz had against Boachuk. Though, again, still fired you. I'm strictly telling you what some of the boxing populace is equating when connecting dots to the issues of Virgil Ortiz, as well as with, again, the drama of, hey, what you going to do? Hey, why aren't you doing X, Y, Z? Where's the big fights that we were expecting you to have? People were starting to sour, just like we were saying against Boots Ennis. So now we're saying all this stuff going around. Are we viewing Boots as a very much underestimated, are we viewing Virgil Ortiz as a very much underestimated obstacle going up against the likes of Boots Ennis? Did I say that right? Let me make sure I said that right. Are we underestimating Boots? No, I said it wrong. Are we underestimating Ortiz in this fight against Boots as a threat level to Boots Ennis off the backs of all the rhetoric that we've seen surrounding Virgil Ortiz over the last couple weeks to potentially couple months? What are your thoughts and opinions? Ramon Vasquez, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. Yes, Virgil Ortiz is being underrated or has been underestimated. And I would say yeah. I would say yeah. And I will raise my hand and say I was a part of it. Like I said, when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I have no issue with the meeting there. This situation, you're doggone right. I have no issue with saying, hey, I am still indeed fervent in my opinion on what Boots can do. But at that same time, the way I was talking, what could have been in a manner that pushed Virgil Ortiz's true ability and true threat to be able to say, hey, wait a minute, there's still a big dog that is looking to come through and be a destructive force and to very quickly turn the tides of everybody's opinions and solidify what people have been saying about him for the longest time, that yeah, it ain't Boots, it ain't Fundora, it ain't Tim Sue, it ain't Bakram, it's Ortiz, who is the definitive baddest brother at 154. For most people, he's been that biggest boogeyman or that biggest threat, even without the requisite belts surrounding him. And the reason why those belts haven't been surrounding him have been aplenty and many. From the standpoint of whether it's politics, whether it's just, oh, he hasn't gone after a title, or whether it's just, oh, some people are avoiding, or whether it's because people just ain't fighting, like Bakram as a whole, who's got a belt and has been MIA. MIA for the longest time. Now, I'm not one to play speculation. But within that year-long window of Bakram not fighting, I would assume he could have gotten a fight with Virgil Ortiz at some point in time. I would assume, unless it was because of injury, with Virgil injured or Bakram injured, unless it was because of that. Or unless Bakram had a fight that was going to be put in place, but then it fell through and then up. Now, after that, it was too short of a window and Virgil Ortiz has already agreed to Lubin. Those ain't the circumstances. Could have had that fight as well. We could have seen an opportunity there. Looks like you should have seen a fight there between those two for a belt. Though I can't remember which belt he is the interim champion for. I believe, okay, so he's a WBC interim champion. And if he is, then that would mean that, hold on. Wait a second. Let me look up the champions on boxing right now, 154. So I can be sure that I have my stuff correct. Lord knows I do not want to be a guy that goes haywire and gives y'all wrong information. If he is the WBC interim champion, then that would mean that at 154. Okay. Excuse me. He'll be next in line for Sebastian Fundora. That's the skinny. Okay. He probably is ranked high enough at the IBF to could have gotten a fight with Bakram. Bakram could have still fought him. Kind of wish he did, but even still. Hold on the conversation. But regardless to which, because I don't want to take too much time. Yes. All this is to say, the rhetoric surrounding the division, especially now, has quelled the not anticipation, but has quelled the understood hierarchy of what this division was foundationally put on, with Ortiz being, for most people's opinions, at the top, even without the accolades abounding with him, though he wasn't a world champion, currently interim. Looking around the landscape, he was the guy that needed to be beat. Or somebody's got to give him the shot. The second he does get a shot, for real, he's getting a belt. And then now, it's his division to lose once that takes place. That was the perspective. Now with Boots coming in there, everybody's saying, I don't know about Ortiz, and myself included. I said it. But we can't forget this brother not just can crack, not just can swat, he can box. He can box really well. This brother can box really well. Mind you, he handled Madrimov in an easier fashion than what we saw Clarence Crawford handle Madrimov. From the standpoint of a fight in a round-by-round basis. He won the fight, in my opinion, by a wider margin. And crazy enough, I think he was actually able to do more damage than Terrence Crawford in that fight with Virgil Ortiz. In that fight with Madrimov. The brother can fight. The brother can brawl. If he needs to box with you, he can box with you. But the biggest thing is he can force you into the environment that he wants it to be in. Which is what Boots is going to have to deal with. Can Boots overcome it? Potentially, hypothetically, sure. But we got to also be more, and I, myself included, we got to be more patient to say, hey, wait a minute now. We're dealing with a live dog, even with the hype of a new dog in Boots coming into the fight. Hey, this brother is still one of the most destructive cats at this division. As much as we can say, also, we got Timmy T back on the show. How you doing? Hey, brother, what's going on with you? Thank you for tuning into the show. We appreciate you coming in on today's episode. We here, we live, we having fun and all exciting. Please go ahead, leave a like on the stream if you haven't already, and please keep on supporting the show. If you haven't, please go on ahead and subscribe and keep on sharing the show with everybody that you know. Oh, I almost forgot, if you want to support the channel while we're waiting on monetization, we got Cash App, we got PayPal, we got links down below in the description if you'd like to come and support the channel. Would mean the world to me, absolutely. But even still, regardless of which, Virgil abandons the jab too early and looks to make it a firefight. He does. Absolutely he does. Now, I will capitulate as we're talking about, again, the fight with Boots and Ortiz as a whole. Because it's looking like it's the next thing that's going to happen. I will capitulate that if that does take place, and he tries to go goad into a war that early, it could be a problem. I will say that. But we also have seen this brother be able to box and patiently wait for an opening to come, like with Virgil, like with Madrimov. When it was against one of the most tricky, awkward, trying to make sure I'm trying to move around to make sure I'm actually centered in. Am I? Hold on, wait a minute, hold on. Yeah, it's. Am I right? I keep feeling I can't match my thoughts. Stuff like I'm trying to. Hold on. Hold on a minute. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm in the screen. All right, there we go. I'm sorry. I'm trying. I'm doing too much. Let me backtrack. Virgil Madrimov, we saw him be able to box with Madrimov and be able to turn it into a fight. So he can be deliberate in being able to systematically box with somebody. Being able to actually use footwork. And crazy enough, he's asking good feet on his own as well with the way he was able to keep Madrimov not just on the ropes, but corner him multiple times while still coming forward and dealing with that herky-jerky style. So I'm not saying that his fighting style is based on technical perfection, but he is able to become a technical fighter. He can be real. And so this fight with Boots, hey man, we can't just be saying he's going to walk through him. And I've said, now I did make sure to say that it's going to be a war when Virgil does fight Boots. I did say that. I have been saying that Boots against Virgil is the most closely knitted fight I can see at 154. I have been adamant to say that. I made sure to at least cover my bases there. But even still, rhetoric would lead people to believe that we're saying, oh, Virgil ain't got a shot. But that just ain't the truth. That ain't, if that was the truth, if that showed up to be the truth when they do fight each other, then that would be absolutely horrifying for the rest of any division. From here, shoot, yeah, up to 168. If it turns out that Virgil Ortiz is not a test for Boots Ennis when they do fight each other, that is horrifying to think about. That is horrifying to think about for the rest of wherever he wants to go to. Because then, all of a sudden, 160 is looking mighty manageable. Then, all of a sudden, even 168 is a way better possibility if we see this take place. If we talked about that potential circumstance on Tuesday. Now we're talking about the opposite. Virgil being able to beat Boots. Yeah, it's real. We got to make sure that we make that concrete. This brother could indeed stop all of Boots' momentum. He could. And if it does turn into a firefight, though we know the athletic ability of Boots is something serious, we're not going to put out to say that all of a sudden, oh, Virgil cannot not just hold his own, but put Boots in some serious danger. Yes, he can. Yes, he can. Yes, he can. In my opinion, he can. But let me see. Okay, I already read that. Virgil bends his jab. Yep. Madrigal back-footed, but you see when Bocha met him head on, he arguably lost. Yeah, that's true. That's true. There was a lot of discourse saying that Virgil Ortiz lost that fight against Bocha. I think because Virgil Ortiz got knocked down twice in that fight, but he also was able to will himself back into the fight and into the later rounds, close to where, okay, can he still, if he does what he needs to do in the last things? And it was split. If I remember the conversations back then, it was split. I was having a tough time saying who won that fight. And I was going back and rewatch it. It was really close. It was doggone it, it was close. So, that being an example of what could be a mirror of what happens when Boots gets us a little bit concerned. Gets a little bit concerned. Let me see. I'm scrolling through, trying to make sure. We got people coming in quick. I gotta make sure we a little bit quicker. Let me see. Boots can fight Virgil inside with sharp counters or box from a distance. It's 65-35 Boots for me. Okay, see, yes, we got some differentiating opinions on how this fight's gonna go outright. Clown show on Saturday. Who is Lima? Now, again, Teddy Burkshot, how you doing? Glad you're back. Oh, there we go. Glad you're back. Appreciate you tuning into the show. So glad you're here. Hopefully you're leaving a like on the stream. But again, it wasn't. Remember, we had said one tune-up I have no issue with in the division. If you handled it dominantly, then yeah, there shouldn't be any talks of 2 or 3 or another wait-around fight. Which now Boots is no longer talking like. Thankfully. He called out every big hitter under the sun, and we talked about that on Tuesday. If you want to go back and rewatch the show, that he cannot take another fight outside of the top 8, which all the top 8 consist of some of the heaviest hitters in the division, the scary people, the murderer's row. That's where it starts. And we listed off the names a couple of weeks ago on who those names are. Bakram, Fundora. Shoot, if Keith Thurman beats Fundora, then Keith Thurman. You still got Virgil Ortiz that we're talking about right now. You got Boachuk, who still exists. You got Adams now, who beat Boachuk. He still exists. You got Majimov, who again, like Shukajan, can give Boots a world of trouble. And so he's got a lot of monsters you got to deal with. But no more waiting around. Because you showed you don't need to tune up again to get invested in the division. To get acclimated. You're already attuned. So you're fine. So it wasn't I wouldn't call it a clown show. That was this is a fight you're supposed to win. To get your feet wet at 154. Just like I wanted Terrence Crawford to do at 168 before he fought Canelo, though he just jumped straight into the deep end. But with this fight to test what you are in this division, you should win it. Are you going to be dominant in doing so? And he did it more dominantly than even I expected. Again, ended the fight in a minute 58. So, like, hey, now we can start saying, okay, the litmus, the initial test is done. The introduction has been made. What you got now? Because you can't avoid these other cats anymore. Well, not anymore. You can't avoid these other cats from this point on. That's what we're saying. And that's what we want to see. And that's why this is so exciting. I mean, no disrespect to Boots. But what with the tune-ups, like I said, it's the tune-ups, like we said on this channel, I'm okay with a tune-up when you're moving up to get ready. Because you want to know what your body can handle. You can jump into the deep end, and it's honorable. It's incredible. It's impressive. We would love that. However, it's not always going to be the case. You want to understand how the car drives before you go straight up on the highway first. So, one tune-up ain't bad. The issue was the 3 tune-ups that we were going to potentially get, as was talked about with Boots. Now we see that most likely isn't going to happen anymore. Thankfully, if it does, we're going to get mad. But most likely it won't, because he is now not just passed the test, better than I expected, but he's also now gotten you into a position where he's ranked number 1, or at least number 4, in nearly all of the sanctioning bodies for the belt commission, excuse me. So, like, he's got a straight shot to either an interim title or a straight up world title. Because now, he's arrived. He's arrived. We said he was going to be there before this fight with Lima. Now that he did it with Lima, oh gosh, yeah. Everybody wants to see this brother fight. So you're doggone right. This tune-up is not bad. If it keeps going, that's when we get it. That's when we get issues. That's when we get issues. Let me see. Virgil gets caught in Mexican standard. Nah, because he be, hey, look, one thing about this brother, he will go straight for your neck. He will stand and bang with the best of them. Yes, he will. Oh, yes, he will. Could there be a judgment against Boots? I would love to hear that from you all as well. Might be, or it could be a legitimate situation. Let me see. It was close. Jean, you think talking about the Boachuk fight with Virgil Ortiz? Yes, it was. Or do you like to be addressed as Welch? Honestly, either or. Either or. Whatever you. My full name's Jean-Luc. Last name's Welch. But you, any inkling at this point, I just want people commenting. Call me. Just don't. Just don't be calling me nothing derogatory or cuts me out. But hey, you do you. Jean, Welch, J-Dub, whatever. As long as you get your questions in. That's all I care about. So it don't matter to me. Don't matter to me at all. Let me see. It's levels to this. It's Teddy Burkshot. It's levels to this. Virgil has a puncher's chance. That's it. Boots' IQ is too high. And he's an opportunist boxer. Calling out fighters is a whole other conversation. Both those statements are true. Well, excuse me. Both those statements are true in some regards. There are levels to this game. But Virgil has more than a puncher's chance. In my opinion, he really does. Like I said, this is why I was saying, are we underrating Virgil Ortiz? Because people like Teddy, which I completely get. But this cat is, people, to say that it's a puncher's chance for Virgil Ortiz to take this win is very much, with all due respect, borderline disrespectful. With the understood viewpoints of where Virgil has been seen for the majority of his career. Yes, you can nitpick. Yeah, there's some issues that we see with Virgil Ortiz that, hey, it could be a bad night if he does fight against Boots, and these same issues come back up again. Like leaving his jab. Like being too quick to turn it into a firefight. Like not trying to use his length. Like being too willing to potentially trade punch for punch with Boots. Not because he doesn't have the power, because he does, but because that speed disadvantage that we know is going to show up in that fight, that can end up to be a bad night for him. And he's a tough brother. But if Bubble Chuck can knock you down, Boots can do a lot worse than that. Multiple times. Again, we understand the pitfalls, but to say that it's just a puncher's shot, could you forget old habits die hard for the likes of Boots as well. He might have fixed those issues against Stanionis. But I guarantee you, if it gets to a point where all of a sudden this fight is tougher than he may have expected, those old habits of defensive irresponsibility, relying on his chin too much, especially at this division, against a brother who is one of the best knockout artists in 154 right now. Hey, this can be bad on the other end of the spectrum. It's more than a puncher's chance. I do. Even if you have Boots' favor, which I can completely justify. It's a lot more than a puncher's chance. Boots does have the IQ. But again, Virgil does as well. He's also got that dog in him. That he can will himself into a fight as well as think himself into a new game plan. He can. Or think himself into an adaptation. It might not be a completely new game plan because, again, we know what Virgil he's going to fight like. But he does it in a different way that, okay, I'm still accomplishing the same goal, but I can do it in a different manner. Which is still impressive. Which is why a lot of people still don't want to mess with this brother. So, I'm telling you, this fight can be really good. This fight can be really, really good. But let me see. Lima was ranked 10th in 3 sanctioned bodies. Now, I'm not saying Lima was great, but he was ranked as high as 6th on the rankings and belts in 2025 watered down. So, yes and no. Because in some situations, yeah, the rankings are horrid. But in others, like with this division at 154, it's about right. The issue was and the belts being watered down, I think they've gained more relevancy in the last couple years due to more undisputed champions coming back to back, actually getting all the belts. And the term undisputed having weight, again, being a champion has had a little bit of zeal now added back to it. Because again, getting out of the Floyd era with the business, the money, all that stuff, now people care about, do you actually got something on the table? Is there something around your waist now? They're starting to care a little bit more, which is good. It still isn't where it needs to be, but it has gotten better. I can say that. Part of the reason that we had talks on this channel, we're trying to make sure that we keep that belt identity alive so that we make sure that, hey, legacy does mean something that brings in money, and you got to have the belts to have your stake in the claim. You need it. So it's starting to get better. Starting to, thankfully. But it can go down real quick. We do know that absolutely. Do you honestly see Roy Jones in Boots? And this is a great question. Also, Jean-Luc sounds like you sailed the seven seas. And now you talking about because the audio sounds like I'm out at sea, or you talking about the name just sounds like a pirate? Yeah, okay, that's funny. I'm not gonna. That's funny. I mean, hey, look, I gotta give it to you. That made me laugh. That made me laugh. Hey, look, maybe it's no coincidence that I'm a One Piece fan. Because, hey, maybe so. Who knows? Maybe I'll buy a boat. We get enough money, maybe I'll buy a boat and do a show at sea. Who knows what may happen as this show continues to evolve. But I guess I'll start saying arg after every sentence. But back to your question, do you honestly see Ward Jones in boots? I see aspects, but it's not one-to-one. Again, the I get the comparison, and it is there. Because similar to Roy Jones Jr., Boots is able to do things inside of the ring and break rules inside of the ring against quality competition that everybody else just can't get away with because they don't have that physical ability. That is indeed true. That is what Roy Jones Jr. had. But from a talent perspective, no, that's still not there. But these equivalents for one fighter today who has the ability to be so much more gifted than most, if not all, of his cohorts in both talent and physical ability, it's Boots. At this point in time, it's Boots. And so, yeah, I do see Roy Jones in some aspects, but again, it's nowhere close to the real thing. Definitely ain't close to the real thing, I promise you. But that's not me being disrespectful. Just to get comparisons to Roy Jones in the way that we see you fight, where it's just, you have that it factor. It's something different. We can all see this is not like all the other elite fighters around multiple divisions in the sport of boxing right now. It's just not. Only other brother I've compared to Roy Jones Jr. is Naoya Inoue. When I said that Roy Jones and Inoue are two sides of the same coin in terms of the what they can do, but their approach to boxing is a little bit different from the stylistic nature. Roy Jones is athleticism. His athleticism is backed by his fundamentals. No. I'm sorry. I said it wrong. His fundamentals are backed by his athletic ability. And for Inoue, it's the other side of the coin. His athletic ability is backed by his fundamentals. Inoue fights fundamentally first. And then, using his athletic ability, is able to do all the other stuff. Roy Jones Jr. fought with the athletic nature first. But because he understood fundamentals, he could then break those rules. A rule breaker, because I can do it, but I know how to do everything right, versus somebody who I do everything right, but because I now have athletic ability, I can break those rules when I want to, but I'm not going to. But both of them can do similar things to each other. Go watch the Ahmed Ali fight. He was literally slipping punches like Muhammad Ali. Hands down, dancing around the ring, leaning back right after throwing a hook with the skin of his, you could see the glove graze the skin and just boom, get out of dodge. Those are the only two that I can see that are like Roy Jones Jr. The only two. And so it's a testament to his ability, for real. He really is. He doesn't have the discipline to stick to the plan. Emotions and habits kick in. I just don't see it. Look, I get it. I understand. Like I said, he's gonna have to be smart. He's gonna have to be dumb smart going up against Boots in it. But if he is, he can make this a bad night. He can. But if it goes in this vein, well, yeah, he does deviate from the necessary game plan. Oh, yeah, he can run through him. Boots could run through him. It's absolutely possible. Hand speed, IQ, foot speed, athleticism, overall attributes, Boots has advantages. Power is close between Boots and Virgil for me. Okay, so you're saying everything else from a thought process and from a physical standpoint, in terms of IQ and physicals, outside of power, Boots is better than Virgil. Power's close, but granted, Boots got more knockouts, but Ortiz has only not won 2 fights by KO. And so it's like both of them heavy-handed. So I get the sentiment. I really do. Majimov said Bud hit harder. Wow, really? Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait, Wait a minute. Excuse me. When did he say this? Wait a second. When did he say this? Shoot. Did I miss? I think I might have missed this interview. Majimov said Bud hit harder than Virgil Ortiz. Oh, shoot. Dang. Well, if that's the case, that might change some things. That might spell trouble. I'm not gonna lie. That might spell some trouble. But let me see. A lot of these Mexican fighters have the mental obligation to go into Mexican style to please their fans, and it's. A lot of people that fight in that Mexican style, it is who they are. Like, the whole point is you don't back down. You keep the pressure on, and you are able to dig deeper than anybody else around you. And you ain't gonna be able to do nothing with me. So it's like, it's not a bad indictment, because when it's done right, it's August 16, 2025. Okay, that's when the videos are uploaded. Okay. All right, thank you. But it can be, it's not, the best in that style have been able to also not just use their jab, but in applying that pressure, been able to be multifaceted. They can go upstairs and downstairs and with the jab. They can become counterpunchers while still having their head on your chest. They can muscle you, as well as they got stamina for days. It's a war of attrition for a lot of them, which again works. It does work, and it's a hard style to be. It's a hard style to be. It is a hard style to be. So I don't hold it against them, because it's we're some of the greatest boxers in history are of that Mexican pedigree, that Mexican mentality, that Viva Mexico type of bravado, that stance of never back down, never surrender, never quit. If I go down, I'm going down swinging, but there ain't nothing you're gonna be able to do to stop me unless you do stop me. But at the same time, we gotta look at it from this perspective. When it comes to Boots Ennis, the style that he's worst against is the styles of people that can move like Shukajan or like Majimov. And the styles that he's best against are those come forward styles that we want to trade left, right, and center. Against Stanionis, when he coming down, hard-hitting puncher at 147, at welterweight, he came down, was trying to throw hooks, trying to be aggressive, always, again, moving to attack, and Boots was able to counter him to Kingdom Come. Roman Villa. Is it Ramon or Roman Villa? What is it? Villa. Buddy who had never been knocked down in his career. Come forward fighter. And he put on a show. Fought in slow motion against the brother. And then knocked him out. David Avanesian. After the second Shukajan fight. Was it the second Shukajan fight? Either after the first or second Shukajan fight. Come forward fighter. Very aggressive. Power puncher. Volume puncher. And he knocked out. knocked out while he was on the ropes. So like, it's as much as I know that this fight can be a real test for Boots Ennis. And again, I do think that there is some people that are vastly underestimating and underrating what Virgil Ortiz can be. I also can recognize that, yeah, when it comes to looking at this fight right now, if everything does show up like we think it will show up in Boots' favor, yeah, it can get bad. It can get really bad for Virgil Ortiz. It can. It really can. Virgil has way more than a puncher's chance, but doggone it, I tell you, history has shown before. This cat in Virgil Ortiz could potentially be a tailor-made opponent for the likes of Boots Ennis. Though this would be the most dangerous fighter Boots has ever faced. And at least in my opinion, that's the truth. Let me see, a tuned-up Jermell Charlo is a better challenge for Boots than flat-footed Ortiz. That's a fact. And again, man, what's going on, brother? Thank you for tuning into the show. So glad you're with us on today. And so this is... I would have said that if the layoff wasn't this long. That's the problem. Charlo ain't fought in, 3 years just about. He's teasing that he's coming back against people. He's calling out everybody with AI images, but the brother ain't actually getting in the ring. And since the fight with Canelo, which is again another brother who was bigger, stronger, and quicker than he realized, he did nothing against Boots, who was faster, stronger, quicker than Jermell Charlo can ever imagine, and is durable. I don't see that being a better test, because Charlo hasn't proved anything since that fight with Canelo to show us that, okay, yeah, he can be something. And even when he was at his best, some of the fights he had that was like competitive, I was like, wait a second, I thought Charlo was supposed to walk through some of these people. Yes, he's an undisputed champion. Yes, he does have accolades. He can come back and be something serious, but we don't know yet because he isn't here. And like with Spence, I'm not going to sit here and say you can be attached for somebody unless you show that you're attached with somebody. The reason why I can talk about Boots like I can now is because against a fighter who he was supposed to handle his business against, he handled his business against. Charlo, I need to see him handle his business against anybody in this division. But if we're going to keep it the same, a tune-up fight, same level of opponent, a top 10 to top 8 type fighter in the division, and you get him out there within 3 rounds or 4 rounds, or you dominate in a boxing clinic that shows, okay, yeah, you're back and you have everything that we thought you had when you left. Until then, I can't say anything about Charlo. Just like I can't say anything about Spence, because their reputation cannot hold up to the inactivity, because we don't know what you are. Keith Thurman, we were saying him coming back was a mistake. We didn't think he was going to do anything. Pacquiao, one of the 10 greatest fighters in boxing history. Manny Pacquiao coming back at 46. Guess what we were all saying? Hey, brother, don't come back. I don't know about this. You might be in over your head. Why? Because we didn't know there was nothing proven yet. Now, he did it. Phenomenal. But with Charlo, I got to see something before I can say something. I got to see something before I can say something. All right, let me see. Coach Eddie, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. So glad you're with us on today. Virgil going to sleep. Yeah. A lot of people here are saying that Virgil's going to go to sleep when it comes to this fight with Boots. So we see where people stand now. Bakram is still a little unknown, but looks like he might be most dangerous opponent at 154. Well, in terms of touch of death If we're gonna use again, I'm a gamer. I like anime. I like video games. I like comic books. I like Marvel movies. I like movies as a whole. All that. I'm a multifaceted kind of guy. If you like that, hey, send me some money. But but shameless plug. If I relate to you, send me some dollars. But no, I'm just I'm just having fun. I'm just having fun. Please, I'm not trying to coerce you. It is supporting this channel. I don't want to be a beggar, please. But to use video games terms, touch of death in the fighting game world is when you can start a combo that if you are able to complete it, you will indeed kill a character or defeat a character. You'll knock them out. If you land this combination, it's a guaranteed they're going to go down and the fight will be over because it takes all of their health. And it's called touch of death because if you get that one hit, that hit starts the chain that they can't stop. Bakram has that touch of death like threat level. If he gets to you and he tags you with that hook, it's the beginning of the end. It is. He's a boogeyman that everybody doesn't want to face, but at the same time, he's a boogeyman that also ain't vying against anybody either. As much as we think you are a demonstrative fighter, you gotta actually show some visceral nature to want to get a fight in. Now, yes, he's been on Twitter. He's been saying, I wish I would get a fight. I wish I was, I want to get in the ring with somebody, but I'm not able to. Now, it could be because his promoters are not doing anything with him. They ain't making no deal. Managers are waiting for something to come about. Whatever the case may be. But at the same time, he should be more vocal. And should have been more vocal a while ago, saying, hey, I want to fight somebody. I can't be sitting on the sidelines no more. I need some movement. We got to get this ball rolling. Somebody better do what I need to do. Because this ain't going to work. I've had this title for almost a year, and I've never defended it. I just won it. Tim Tszyu and Tim Tszyu, since my fight, fought the brother that lost, that beat him. Fundor has fought Lubin and Tim Tszyu since then. He's now fighting Keith Thurman. About to have his, third title defense, second title defense? Ortiz now got a fight. Boots just got a fight and is in position for a world title. One of my belts. Shoot, a boss is having more movement than me when it comes to getting a potential opportunity. In talks of, we may get something down the line for you. Where's my moment? Where's my shine? Where's my fight? He needs to make some more noise with it. Because as much of a threat level as he is, very quickly he can be forgotten by a lot of people. And I don't want that to be the case. I need to see him fight. Because he is still an unknown. Because we haven't seen him against, again, those other elites that are in positions to have a title or get to a title. And he had time to make a fight with all of them. Yet either him or management messed up everything and let him sit. And it's a shame. It really is a shame. So even if he is the most dangerous, he still got to do something. Still got to do something. But let me see. Love King, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. So glad you're with us on today. What you got to say on the matter? Let's see Errol Spence versus Charlo. Winner gets boots. And you know what? I would have no problem with that.
Hey, look at this. We got the problems here. We got the problems here.
That was the wrong sound. That was the wrong sound. I said I don't have problems with that fight. Then I play good old JR saying we got problems. No, I don't have problems with that fight. I want that fight to take place. That fight is the only fight that makes sense from an either Charlo or Spence perspective, because both of them have been out the ring closest to each other for the longest time. One's making his debut, one's coming back down. Both of y'all have had over 2 years to get in shape. We battle of the unks at this point. Hey, look, it's the truth. And again, we say unk respect because again, they're OGs. Because at this point in time, the boxing world has evolved so much that they're kind of being left in the dust is the wrong term, but they are longer in the tooth than others. But they think they still got something to prove. I have no issue with that. But you got to prove it now against each other. And somebody's got to start the talks. I would love to see that fight happen. Who do I favor? At this point in time, Charlo, because I honestly, for all the gripe I have about Charlo coming back as a fighter and not being sitting on his money, seemingly for who knows how long since I fight with Canelo, Spence, I'm even more concerned. This brother not only has been out the ring longer, but we have been questioning for longer than Charlo. Brother, do you still want to fight at all? You keep saying, don't tell me I'm retired. Don't tell me when I need to go. Don't tell me when I'm not going to fight. But then at the same time, you keep only teasing, hey, I'm working out. But then you at the beach. But then you in the spa. But then you with your family. Which I love that you're with your family. I love that you're at the spa or whatever the case you are. I love that you're on vacation at the beach. I don't care that you're having a fun time with your loved ones. But what I do care about is that you still have been saying, I'm going to come back. And then you never come back. Since then, everybody that was with you has either retired, is on the docket to get to the Hall of Fame, or just beat Canelo Alvarez at 160, which now we've learned was going to be the fight that if you had fought against Canelo, if you had beat Spence, if you and Spence had beat Crawford, you would have been the guy to get that fight with Canelo. Since that loss, it's been ever much so, you've been non-existent. The world is going on here. The world's going on here. All you got to do, even if it's against a bum, just step in the ring and show us something. But you can't tell us that our inclinations of what you are going to be as a fighter are wrong when everything you're showing lines up with, hey, brother, I don't think this brother wants to come back at all. So I'm like, hey, man, then what am I supposed to think except for you just don't got it until you show me you got something. And this would be the fight to do it against Charlo versus Spence. But the longer you wait, the less time the less hope I'm gonna have. The longer you wait around to actually make that fight happen. Because hey, brother, the world's moving. We got Inoue. We got Ben Rodriguez. We got David Benavidez. We got Usyk still kicking. We got Moses Atalma. We got Terrence Crawford still alive. And right now, just cracked the top 10 in my estimation for the greatest boxers in history. Still looking to go back down to 160. We got Sebastian Fundora. We got Boots Ennis. We got Junto Nakatani. We got people. We got people that we watching this to mold the sport into the next chapter of this great lineage that we've seen in this world of boxing. You can still make a mark, but you got to do something quick. You got to do something quick. But let me see. I'm in Rwanda. What's going on with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. Leave a like on the stream if you like what you're hearing. And please keep on supporting the show. Keep on liking. Keep on sharing. If you want to help support the show, because what I do for a living, hey, we ain't got monetization just yet. But we got Cash App. We got PayPal. We got links down below in the description if you would like to support through those means. If you can, would mean the world to me. But just sitting back watching and interacting is good enough. Help us get the algorithm to see this is the hottest show in all the globe right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform. But let me see what you got to say on the matter today. Turkey said he offered a lot of fighters to fight Bakram, but all turned him down. Now, I would not be surprised at that fact because, again, people don't want to mess with Bakram. They don't. Because of what he did to Tim Tszyu. I'm going to be completely honest. You are absolutely right. And plus, with business, risk reward. Also, what is it? Israelite for life. Am I reading right? Is it Israelite for life? Yeah. Israelite for life. What's going on, brother? How you doing? Israelite for life. Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. So glad you're with us on today. But actually, again, going back to the question at hand, Turkey said, offered fights for Bakram, but it didn't work. That's because people don't want to fight him. At the same breath, Bakram has not made any noise to show people, hey, I'm worth fighting. Part of this is business. Don't forget that. Part of this is business. In the business of boxing, risk-reward assessment is a big thing. Yes, Bakram is a champion, but also he's a champion with not nearly as high of a marketability threshold as the Virgil Ortizes, the Sebastian Fondoras, the Boots Ennises of the world. Shoot, Keith Thurman. As we can throw him in there. Madrimov got a higher stock from the standpoint of notoriety than Bakram. That's not me trying to be disrespectful. That's the case with a lot of people. I guarantee you, there are a lot of people, their first time seeing Bakram was in that fight with Tim Tszyu. And then afterwards, everybody who saw it was like, oh my gosh, who is this brother? And then even though he's been in the division for a minute, he's been a competitive fighter in the division for a while. But he got his moment in the sun. But after that, he didn't make any noise to capitalize on that moment. He got the dream, but he got the dream when he got the dream coming from out the shadows. But then he didn't say anything. He went MIA. He went MIA for 8 months straight. Only a couple of weeks ago was this brother going on Twitter saying, hey, I wish I could fight somebody. I would love to get a fight. Somebody needs to I want to get in the ring, y'all. I'm telling you. But we got to just wait. He waited too long to make some noise that, hey, somebody come try to take my stuff, or calling out other champions straight up, making himself a marketable and viable opponent that people can't ignore. Because yes, the road to undisputed still runs through you if you got a belt, and he's got one. But also at the same time right now, you can't get people to fight you because at this point in time, it's not necessary for a couple of these people's careers, or wanted for a couple of these people's careers to keep their trajectory up. But you got to make yourself an undeniable stopgap that isn't just the end of the road. Nah, it's, hey, I'm in the middle of whatever rise you're trying to garner in this world of boxing. You can't just wait on me to say, okay, hey, once I get better, yeah, we can make something happen. No, I want you now, in the ring now. And if I'm a champ, guess what? You better come take what I got. Because I'm going to defend this belt and show y'all I'm worth my weight in gold. The gold I'm holding right here in this, if I had a title. If I had a belt, yeah. But that's the thing. That's the thing. We need to have that be a consistent thing for Bakram. Because, yeah, normally Turkey His money's enough for anybody to want to take the fight. They're trying to pay him, absolutely. But even with that being the case, the other aspect of, hey, but I take all this money, but if I lose the background, that might be all the money I make. It's still not worth the risk it, because he, as a name, ain't where he needs to be yet. Even with a belt, which is insane to say, I know. Going back to the conversation of, do the belts have meaning in today's day and age? They do. And they have been gaining meaning since we've had big champions like Crawford, like Usyk, like Canelo, like Inoue go after Undisputed to claim everything. Now the gold is starting to be more, not just accepted, but more wanted by the public. I want this champion. I want that champion. Everybody calling out everybody. Names being dropped. It's a beautiful thing. But at the same time, it still ain't where it needs to be. This is part of that reason. And so, if Bachram needs to start, at this point, making videos, doing clips, going on shows, whatever he got to do. Whatever he got to do to make himself known. Get himself with the people. Make his star power fit the dominance. Or, even better, your managers and promoters promote the brother to make him say, hey, if y'all forgot, we got in our stable one of the most destructive, monstrous, dangerous fighters in all the world that you need to watch and witness. And if you're a fighter, you ain't real until you fight Bachram. Until you fight Murder Murtazali. You ain't real. Until you fight the brother. He's got murder on his mind. To quote the tragically ironic song, this brother's out for blood. You going into the electric chair if you try to fight this cat. This is the executioner. You can bring that moniker back. Make a new nickname for him. Do whatever you got to do. Put him on the Sean Porter podcast. Shoot, bring him on my podcast. I don't know. Something. But you got to make him worthwhile. Because he won the title from nothing. Not to say he is nothing, but to the wider array. The fan base is right there. But you got to capture it. And they ain't capturing it with them. They're not. And they're promoters. And they ain't promoting the brother. It's hard. That's part of the reason why. That's part of the reason why Shakur and Zepeda can't be made quicker. That's part of the reason why Floyd Schofield and Shakur can probably be made quicker than a fight with Bachram. That's part of the reason why Tank can get everybody wanting to fight him, because he's gotten the market to say, hey, brother, I'm going to make more money than anybody else if I fight him, and he's an elite guy, so if I beat him, I'm going to get even more recognition and acclaim. That's the thing. But they got to do a better job with this cat. They got to. Did you know Bachram speaks fluent English? I did not. Take advantage. Oh my gosh, take advantage of that. Take advantage of that. Do some Spanish interviews. Go to Spanish outlets, Mexican outlets, and go on a talk show. Have some sparring camps down in Mexico if need be. Go through it and like do events, concerts, community work, something. You mean to tell me that you can speak fluent Spanish and you got a fighting style that the Mexican population would love to see? That's a whole swath of people right in your horizon. Shoot, Crawford was able to take advantage of utilizing his connections to Mexican culture and community with the friend groups that he had growing up to create a fan base that wasn't just black folks, but also a large part is the Mexican population. Genuinely. Got a lot of supporters over there. Because he rocks with them. He works with them. He does stuff down there. Or with that community. I'm not saying this in the vantage point, just using people. I'm saying like genuine. He's able to connect with them. Malcolm do that same thing, but you have to take advantage of making this butter something. Because if not, man, you're shooting yourself in the foot. That's the best thing I can say. You are shooting yourself in the foot. But again, we got shoot. In fact, I think at this point, we either we go to the other topics on this show, or we can go straight up to the championship. You know what? We'll gut the norm like we normally do. Instead of going into the other topics of the show, we're going to go straight into the championship rounds for this episode. And if you're new to this channel, championship rounds is when you can talk about anything and everything in the world of boxing and beyond on your own volition. That's right. I'll still bring up some things. I'll still bring up my talking points. But now the whole world is your oyster as a viewer of this show to come through and talk about or ask questions or debates on whatever you want to talk about, whether it's in boxing, basketball, the NBA, anime, movies, sports, TV, video games, all that stuff, whatever you want to have on your mind that we can talk about and conversate with. The floor is yours, the world is your oyster, and the time is open for you to have your voice be seen and heard for the masses to witness and enjoy and be a part fully in the conversation. In fact, you control the conversation as a whole right here on the show for the next 30 minutes to an hour just about. And while you're getting your questions together for said talking points in the championship rounds, we'll still go through and bring us up. We got a question right here. Before we go into that, we got a question right here. Do you think Inoue can be undisputed at featherweight? Yes, he can. Yes, he can. Absolutely. No doubt in my mind he can. No doubt in my mind he can. Absolutely he can. Absolutely you can. Is it going to be tough? Yeah, sure. The toughest fight is going to be Espinoza. Let's be real. The toughest fight will be Espinoza as a dangerous situation. Now, sure, can Nick Ball potentially catch him and hurt him? Absolutely, no question about it. But in terms of a fighter in Nick Ball, no, he ain't going to be able to beat him. And most likely, Nick Ball, if he does have to fight in his next fight against what it seemed to be, dang it, that's my. If Nick Ball has to fight against Espinoza in what, in fact, if I have my, let me see if I can go to my notes real quick, because I actually might have an update on that very fight going down. Nick Ball might not even be in the picture from a champion's perspective to fight against, anyway, by the time Inoue goes up to 126, because it's going to be now, rumor has it, they're trying to make the fight with Nick Ball and Rafael Espinoza to unify the titles. I think pretty soon. I think really soon. And right now, I'm just finding out he has been mandated to fight against Brandon Figueroa instead of fighting the other top. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Time out. Breaking news. Hold on. Wait a second. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Nick Ball is not fighting Espinoza next? Wait a minute. This still goes into the Inoue conversation. Let me validate this to make sure. Doggone it, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Tell me this ain't real. Tell me this ain't real. We doing some live reporting right now. Hold on, give me a second. Give me a minute and this. Oh, I hate this. I hate this. I do not like that at all. Yeah. All right, this is from, well, whoo! All right, so as we go into area, and then you all get to see, if you're new to the channel, you get to see a new thing on this show that we like to call the old picture and picture as we're going through and delving into it. And as you can see, it's confirmed. Let me move this. This is from the WBA official website. It's from the official WBA website, as you can see right here. WBA Champions Committee orders Nick Ball versus Figueroa as a mandatory fight October 13, 2025. So, like, I'm going to be completely honest. We talked about Nick Ball fighting before. And we said if he fought against Inoue, most likely I have Inoue beating and knocking him out. Because stylistically, Nick Ball is perfect against Inoue for him to be able to counter him and put him to sleep. Probably with a straight right hand coming down the pipe. Or an uppercut that completely shuts down his system. Absolutely, especially with that speed. Nick Ball's tenacious, absolutely. He's strong, don't get me wrong. But he's reckless. Too reckless. Reckless to a fault that he will indeed put himself in his own grave. He will dig his own grave by the time that fight comes about. When that fight really starts heating up. But at the same time, Nick Ball also ain't been proven against some of the other bigger guys. Yeah, he beat Raymond Ford. Great win. Phenomenal. I'm not going to disrespect that one. He beat TJ Doheny, who was coming up on 122. Who in a way beat in 4 rounds. Literally punched him so hard that his back gave out. Nick Ball, to some degree, has been proven in the standpoint of champions pedigree. Like you would want to see from him come as a fighter. Especially when you got the likes of Stephen Fulton, who was at 126, who's moved up to 130 to fight O'Shaquie Foster. But Fulton was there. Espinoza is still there. You got you got at 126 Angelo Lee, who just been consistently just raining. And he ain't fought none of them. None of them. And I'm trying to ask why. And this is what his 3rd or 4th title defense, just about. This is a problem. Nick Ball might not even be in the picture by the time Inoue does get up to 126 if he is forced to have to fight the likes of Espinosa or the likes of against Stephen Fulton if Stephen Fulton comes back down to 126 from 130, regardless of the result that he has when he moves up. Even if he doesn't win, there's still a good chunk of litany of people. Don't forget, Shushu Carrington's at 126 as well. Somebody who's moving up in the ranks very, hold on, wait a minute. Hold on, before I say that, let me make sure. Like I said, I'm never one. If I feel like I might have said something wrong, let me make sure I fact check it. Let me make sure. Shushu Carrington's at 126. Let me make sure real quick before I potentially misspeak. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I'm right. Bruce Carrington, who's moving up very quickly, is another brother who, hey, Nick Ball fights against him, could be some trouble. In a way, his toughest fight is going to be against Espinosa. His hardest fight is going to be against Espinosa. Because the way Inoue works, he doesn't go from the bottom up. He starts from the top down. He's done that for 4 different divisions now. 2 times he went undisputed going that route. Beat Stephen Fulton, the best 122 pounder in the world, top down. Went through the Muhammad Ali tournament. Going through the best at 118 at bantamweight. Knocked everybody out. Or stopped almost everybody. And then took out Nonito Donaire in a 12-round fight of the year. And then rematched him and put him out in 2 rounds. Insane. And this cat still at 122 right now is running through everybody. Has cleaned out every major name in this division outside of maybe Casemiro. And again, Casemiro kept saying, oh yeah, he's running against Casemiro. But no, he's been going after a belt or a higher ranked fighter. Would have already fought Sam Goodman too if Sam Goodman didn't get injured both instances. Ain't nobody at 126. If Espinoza is going to be his toughest fight. But if he gets through Espinoza, he gets through everybody else. He gets through Espinoza, he gets through everybody else at 126. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. If he handles Junto Nakatani when they fight next year, which is looking to be that they're going to fight next year, he handles Junto Nakatani. Well, first he got to get past David Picasso. Understandable. First he got to get past David Picasso. He gets past David Picasso and handles Junto Nakatani. Further going to push my point that, it's going to be hard to stop this brother. It's going to be hard to stop this brother. As a talent, this cat's the best 120, not just 122 pounder, but as a fighter. You can say Crawford's number 1 pound per pound. Absolutely, he deserves that title. But as a talent, I don't see nobody better than Inoue. Nobody, not even Terrence Crawford. As a talent, what he's done, what he has as an ability, that's something that, and this is not disrespecting Terrence Crawford. Even Terrence Crawford doesn't have that. Boots doesn't have what Inoue got. Usyk ain't got what Inoue got. Nobody, almost nobody in boxing got what Inoue got. The only people that got it to some degree are Boots Ennis and Terrence Crawford. And of those two, it's Terrence that's got the most it factor or that unexplainable thing to it. That's it. Bam's got some of it. Bam Rodriguez, he got a little bit of it. One of my favorite fighters to watch. He got something different in him as well. But it ain't in a way. That cat's he's a monster. He's one of the greatest fighters I've ever seen, period. When he ends his career, he's most likely going to be in my top 15, if not top 10. Just like with the way that Crawford cracked it. Just like with the way that Pacquiao cracked it at the end of his career. Inoue can do that same thing. He's that good. He's that good. He's that good. He is that. I'm telling you, he is that good, man. He's a monster. Don't let that small division fool you. They got killers everywhere. Below 126 and below, killers everywhere. Everywhere. Most people just don't know. But I'm telling you, man, he can do it. I even said that he could get up to 130 if he so chose to go to try to get undisputed there. I've said that if he stays around long enough and his body can handle it, he can follow the same trajectory as Manny Pacquiao and rise through the ranks and get belts at multiple divisions. If his body can handle it. Again, that's another question. And that's up to him. But if he does, don't be surprised. This cat's something different. I'm telling you, that brother, he's my most favorite fighter in the world right now. And he is a dog like no other. Inoue is a dog like no other. I promise you that. I promise you that. But like I said, we're still in the championship rounds. You all can still take your questions and comments all throughout the night to see all throughout the day to see what you got to say on the matter. As we're in this segment, while you're getting your questions together, even still, we got some more stuff that we can cover in the world of boxing, just to help to turn the wheels of the mentality of some of the fans that are watching this show. Like with, crazy enough, sticking with 154, Sebastian Fundora, which honestly, as much as we've talked about Boots, Ortiz, and everybody comparative to them, on the other side of the coin, I also wanted to discuss the question of one of the other reigning champions in the division. Hey, with Fundora, do we need to start asking about him against some of these other big hitters to see if maybe, could he actually put down some of these big cats? Because mind you, this brother's still the towering inferno, and he made a believer out of me. And I did not believe that he was going to be that good. I did not believe that he was that good after that first fight with Tim Tszyu. Because I thought, yeah, it was the blood and the cut that made Tim Tszyu lose that fight. If it wasn't for that, he was going to get knocked out, and I still believe he was. But in the second time round, all of a sudden, hey, he put belt to butt. He put belt to butt against Tim Tszyu. Made him quit, knocked him down. Then before that fought Lubin, who's now fighting Virgil Ortiz. Knocked him out. Yes, he got knocked out by Brian Mendoza. But since then, all of a sudden, he's turned into a fighter that's more than just a gimmick. He's a problem. He's a real problem. He's a dangerous problem. And he might be a problem even for the likes of some of the bigger names in the division. Even for the likes of Bakra. Even for the likes of Virgil Ortiz. Crazy enough, even for the likes of Boots Ennis. Though, it could go awry very quickly in any of those instances with how he's changing as a fighter. Using his jab a little more. A lot more action. Being a little, it's still not great defensively, but being a little bit better defensively. He's apparently filling out a little bit more than I've seen over the past couple fights, and using his length in a more destructive manner. Instead of just being an inside tour de force. He could give a lot of, everybody at 140, at 154. He can give a lot of people a lot of problems. He can upset some people. We can't just talk about Fundora as a, oh yeah, he's a great fighter. Yeah, he's tough. And leave it at that. He can upset some folks. If he gets through Keith Thurman and he looks the way I think he's going to look against Keith Thurman, he can give some, it can be bad. What he can be for some of these other big contenders at 154, a lot of the big names, yeah, he can be a problem. He can really be a problem. He can really be a problem. I'm telling you. But let me keep on reading what you all had to say. How do you see Ortiz versus Lubin going? You know what? That's a good question. That's a really good question. I don't think I've given that fight as much thought as I've needed to. Because initially, I have Ortiz winning. Yes. I got Ortiz winning by knockout. Yes. I got it being another firefight. Yes. The reason being, I can't really use that Fundora fight with Lubin because that fight was, not just was it back and forth, but also the dimensions of that fight Lubin was dealing with. He ain't going to have as an issue against, or as much of an issue against when it comes to fighting against somebody his own size in Virgil Ortiz. But even with that, I don't think Lubin's going to be able to get out of this fight. I don't think Lubin's going to be able to get out of this fight with a win. I don't think Lubin gets out of this fight with a win. He gets knocked out. He gets knocked out probably in round 7. Between round 7 to 9. He probably gets stopped. Because the one thing about Lubin, at least I've seen when he fights, you get him caught, he'll get back up. But you start catching him again, you've won 80% of the fight. Because at that point now, he's going to be tenacious. He's going to be absolutely driven. He'll turn into a dog fight. He will go through and try to rock your world, absolutely. He ain't a slouch of a fighter. Again, this fight is entertaining because it's competitive. Because it's got some gusto to it. It's got some fervor. We've got a cat who can actually not just hold his own, but got some power and experience. Again, 27-2, 19 KOs on his resume. Only been knocked, but both of those losses have come from knockouts. And they've become from who? Sebastian Fundora, retired on a stool, and Jermell Charlo, who caught him coming in. Crazy enough, caught him on the inside and knocked him out. So against some of the better competition of the divisions, when it's gotten to that high bar, ain't looked. He's been put down. He has. He's been put down. Now again, he beat Jesus Ramos, which again, that's a good win. No issue there. That's a good win. But beyond that, when it comes to power, and if you are better than him on the inside, and you turn it into an inside fight, which he will oblige to do, you got him. Especially if you're elite. And so I think we're going to see Lubin get knocked out again. I think we're going to see him get knocked out again. And it's going to be fun while it lasts. It's going to be fun while it lasts, but I don't know if it's going to last long. I guarantee you, I don't know if it's going to last long. But let me see, is Janibek the best middleweight? And does he beat Lara? So, Janibek, that's, This would be a great talking point for tomorrow. But you know, it's fine. We can talk about it now. Janibek is the best middleweight in the world today. He is. No question about it. In my opinion, there's no question. He's the best middleweight in the world at this point in time. However,
Hey, look at this. We got some problems
however,
here. We got some problems here.
he's never faced a Lara before. That's the issue. He's never faced a Lara before. He can beat Lara. He can beat Lara. But that fight is going to be so difficult. Now, I touched on this, I think, on Tuesday. But I'm telling you, that fight is going to be so hard. Because that fight is not going to be something that is easy. That fight is going to be something that is going to be very much, I'm right in front of you, but you can't tag me. And you're getting tagged yourself if you're Janibek. Because Lara now has turned into a power puncher. A deathly counter puncher. Somebody who is still retained, though he doesn't have the fleet-footed nature of the old days. He's retained the defensive IQ and responsibility. And the slickness while still being in front of you. And he's turned that into not just windows to pop you, but windows to put you out quick and in a hurry. This it ain't no joke, man. And because of that, Janibek might be in a world of trouble. Because he's never faced somebody that not only can punch with you, but can make you miss while you're punching with you. He hasn't faced somebody with this combination of slickness and power. He hasn't faced somebody like that. That's this smart, that's this crafty, and got popped that you have to actually be worried about? No. And if you know Janibek, you've seen he can get caught. Janibek can get caught a lot more than people may realize. He can get tagged a lot more than people may realize. No, his last fight against was it Harrison? That he fought against the brother with the brother with the two-tone beard. That was going through, and no, it was not Harrison. What was his name? That's what it was. A Newell. I think his name is a Newell. Yeah, I believe his name is Anu. Anu, the last opponent that Janibek faced. If you go back and watch that fight, there was some swelling over the eye of Janibek. And it wasn't just because Janibek just swells up easy or he's easily able to be caught and damaged. He was getting tagged, but that damage was because of accumulation. But again, with that Philly shell style that he has at times, yeah, he can block and catch and shoot and counter and all that stuff, but at the same time, it's not as de facto as you would want it to be when it comes to fighting against people that throw in volume. When it comes to fighting against people that, hey, they'll swing more than just 3 punches at you in a row. He was getting tagged to some degree. He was still winning rounds, but he was getting tagged to a level that I was like, I don't like that a whole lot. When you duck down to roll under punches, you're rolling late at times. Getting caught on the side or top of the head. When you put that Philly shell up, even as a southpaw, you ain't catching everything. You're not. You're throwing it up late. You're still getting tagged around your glove because you ain't positioned correctly. There's some things I don't like, but there's a lot of things I do like about Janibek. But even still, the one person that can capitalize and take all of those weaknesses and use them against Janibek in a destructive manner, it is Lara. The oldest champion in boxing right now can be the downfall one of the youngest dominant stars in the sport. Oh, he can pull it out. He can pull it out. We could be seeing Lara as the butter that Crawford's got to fight to beat in lieu of becoming undisputed champion. We could see it. Because I tell you this, if Lara beats Janibek, it's tough for anybody to say that Lara couldn't beat anybody else for the undisputed title to get the belts relatively easily. Because Janibek right now is seen as the best butt in the world. Clear cut, with Lara being second, but way down the line at second. From the perceived gap in talent between the two. But I'm telling you right now, that gap in talent is closer than you think. This unification bout is bigger than what you may expect because the winner of this most likely runs through 160 because the division isn't weak. It is not deep, like with 154. It's got some respectable names, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're a bunch of bums, but it ain't 154. Though those two fighters in Lara and Janibek are clear-cut head and shoulders above everybody else. And we see, yeah, they deserve that claim. Whoever wins this most likely runs through 160 with relative ease and becomes undisputed, getting all the belts without a problem. So, yeah, this is a close fight, and it's got a lot of ripple effects. Janibek can beat Lara, but it is, if there was ever a potential 50-50 stamp I would put on a fight, this would be that fight. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Great. We'll talk about it. But I do not see this being a easy outing at all, unless the bottom just falls out from under Lara. Like with Pacquiao, where his prime, what his ability lasted up until it didn't. He's not in his prime, yeah. But with Pacquiao, he was able to keep on fighting at an elite level up until he fought against Ugas, and his legs just gave out. Yeah, he just didn't have it anymore. Lara, he's adapted, and now he got a second win. That win could just go away just like that, or it could stick around. If it sticks around, this is a close. This I could see this being a 50-50 fight. I see this being a 50-50 fight. I would favor Janibek, but in terms of how confident I am in him winning, it's 50-50. For that fight, it's 50-50. Because I know what Lara's bringing to the table. And it's a lot of the answers to the question of how do you beat Janibek. Let me see. If Janibek runs through Lara, does he beat Adams? Yeah, he does. He does. In my opinion, he does. He absolutely does. Because if we talking about I'm sorry, not Adams. Adames. I'm sorry. I said his name wrong. I'm sorry. Carlos Adames, who's also, again, a current contending middleweight. And again, the brother, somewhat, when I watched him fight, at least against when he fought against Sebastian Fundora, I'm sorry, when he fought against Hamza Shiraz, excuse me, had a little bit of Joe Frazier going about him. He did. But I don't think he's not going to be able to beat Janibek. He's not going to be able to beat Janibek. Because the crazy thing about Janibek, even though he's shorter than Shiraz, yes, he might. I think he had an injury in that fight. Understandable. But with using the jab and using his length, it became ineffective because once Carlos got on the inside, Shiraz couldn't handle him. And he kept getting countered. And he should have won that fight against Shiraz. Janibek, whatever range you try to get him at, he's got a plan to be able to do something with it. And he's better defensively, way better defensively than Shiraz. Berlanga was breaking through Shiraz's guard, high guard, with his jab, and was able to get busy. Now, yes, it ended in a knockout, but we're bringing up the issues of what was happening in that fight. Berlanga was able to win the outside battle against Shiraz. And Shiraz won the inside battle against Berlanga and put him to sleep. Adams won the inside battle against Shiraz and nullified the outside battle by getting away from his jab all the time while coming forward, by slipping and bobbing and weaving. Again, like with Joe Frazier, ducking up and down, having that cross guard and going like this. It was great. Call back to all back in the day. I was getting excited when that happened. Akin to Joe Frazier, who had some of the greatest head movement that we've seen in boxing history, especially in the heavyweight division, who beat to the rhythm of his own song in terms of how he moved in getting it out of the way of punches. It was a beautiful thing. Carlos did some of that in that fight. But also Shiraz couldn't adapt to it. Janibek can. And he's a better mover. So it's not going to be as easy to just close the gap if you do get some distance. Janibek can turn you around quick. Janibek can dodge side to side quick and in a hurry. Janibek can get out of dodge and turn a bad situation into your worst nightmare at the drop of a hat if he gets in the corner or on the ropes. He can do it. And he's got those sneaky types of punches that can really catch you. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. And man, it can be a problem. So Adames, I don't know if he beats. I don't think he beats Janibek. He might have a better shot against Lara. But that's because Lara, again, can't move in the same way. And his style may be able to nullify some of the deficiencies in Lara's style. Potentially. But again, even still, that's Would I pick both of them to beat him? At this point in time, I would say yeah. More likely, I would pick Janibek than Lara to beat Adames. But I got Adames losing to both of them. At least for me, right now. But even still, he's a threat. But whoever wins this fight, the best opposition afterwards is Adames. And regardless of who gets out of that, you couldn't tell me that I would be, you couldn't tell me that I was a fool to say that if whichever one beats each other, I would be a fair assessment to say they beat Adams or Adames, if they get in the ring with them. I think that's fair. Because both of them are, again, up here. Way up here. Dare I say off the screen. When it comes to compared to everybody else in the division. And then below that, everybody's working their way up. And so I could see them. I could see that. Now, at least that's my thing anyway. But listen, we got about 5 more minutes before we're gonna end this stream off. We trying to have a better schedule of time when it comes to what we do with the show. But let me see what you got to say. Virgil looked more improved in the Majimov fight. Could give Boots a hard time. Boots gets hit a lot. And he did. You're absolutely right. He did look good. He did look good. Again, it was a better performance than what Crawford had. Absolutely. But what you have to understand is him fighting Majimov the way that he did isn't going to be able to work against Boots. Because part of the reason he beat Majimov, well, not part, the game plan for Majimov was to go through, wait him out, let him get tired, just like he did against Terrence Crawford, and then go for broke and start to really break him down once he stops moving. Because once that herky-jerky stuff starts going about, boom, he can't do what he normally does. Now he's slow enough that I can hit him. But against Boots, that's not going to be the case. Now, from an IQ perspective, going through to handle that type of insanely difficult style in boxing, it's a great mindset. It showed, okay, hey, that's why I said earlier, he can box, not just fight. Ortiz can box. He can box. He really can. But that's why Teddy Burkshot earlier in the show said what he said. Ortiz oftentimes won't stick to that technical game plan. And he'll go into his true style of just trying to get you out of there. Now, it's not mindless. It's not reckless. It's not a dumb style that's just unga bunga type of stuff. But it is very much, hey, I'ma out macho you, I'ma out muscle you, and I'ma outwork you. I'ma will you into submission, which is it's hard to beat, absolutely, but it is beatable. And with Boots, he can make it a great fight against him, but man, he's got to be on a technical level that is even above the likes of Majimov. From the standpoint of what he did in that fight against Majimov, he's got to be on a higher level than that. He's got to be on a higher level than Shukajan. Gonna be real. Shukajan made Boots look the worst he's looked in his entire career. He both times after Shukajan, he took on people that would come forward fighters because he looked bad in that fight. He's going to have to, and even with him looking bad in both of those fights, he won them going away and deserved to win them going away. He deserved it. Now, some of those fights, not going to lie, that first fight I thought was a lot closer than the second one. But even still. No, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I'm wrong. That first fight was close. And I think the judges got that fight scored skewed in a negative light. Second fight, Shukajan performed even better because he was sitting down on his shots while still being elusive. Not just trading and banging, doing a little bit of what Arizona Lara does now. And it was working against Boots. Even more effectively than the first time he fought against Boots when he was just moving around the ring all the time. Yet the same result happened. He got beat. Virgil had to be above that to be able to take this win. It's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. Really tough. He can get up there, but boy, it's going to be a tough time. It's going to be a task and a half. And see, body shots with a factor to slow Majimov's legs down. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But it's going to be different. I'm telling you, the body attack can work for Boots as well. It can work to slow him down as well. Muddy those feet. Take him to deep water. But at the same time, it's going to be hard to get the likes of Virgil Ortiz to catch Boots Ennis as well. One thing that we know about Boots Ennis now, especially after his last two fights with Lima and Stanionis at 147, he's gotten better defensively, and he's gotten really good now at being able to be an aggressive defensive fighter, slipping and countering, off-angle uppercuts, going through, being able to I'm right there in front of you, boom, actually catching shots, not show defense where he's doing all of this but still getting caught. He's actually catching shots now and able to boom, counter, boom, boom, right, or excuse me, boom, boom, so I can actually punch correctly, and then get out the way and still be right in front of you. 3-4 shots to the body, like he did against Stanionis. Digging with that long jab downstairs. And then pausing for a moment, making you miss, pop, pop. And then going to leading with that right hand again. Doubling, tripling up with it if he wants to. Then angling back out. And then doing the dance up. He can fight forwards and backwards. Side to side as well. Majimov, once he got tired, wasn't able to do that. Boots, if that gas tank does stay put, ain't gonna get tired. And he'll match body work with body work. So we also got to worry, but not saying that Virgil's going to succumb. But it's also a two-way street. And don't let it be that he's got more power than you. Because all of a sudden, them body shots on Boots, he can take more than you can take his shots, hypothetically, if we see that on night of the fight. It can get sketchy. It can get really dangerous. It can get really dangerous. So that's why we can't wait to see it. That's why I can't wait to see that fight as a whole. But again, it's going to be a phenomenal night. Whenever it does get announced, hopefully it'll be get announced within the month or within a month or two that, yeah, they confirmed for next year. So it's going to be exciting nonetheless. But again, we got to go through. This will be the last question. And then we got to go and end off the show because I would love to keep on going. But we do got to make sure we prep for tomorrow's show. And I got to go out and handle some stuff. So we're going to have to get out of here after this. Let me see. How does Brian Norman do against Devin Haney? I'm going to give a quick answer and come back tomorrow. And we can talk about it more in depth. But Brian Norman knocks out Devin Haney. Brian Norman beats up Devin Haney. Brian Norman is going to be able to corner Devin Haney. Because Brian Norman is not just a power puncher. Brian Norman is not just a knockout artist. Brian Norman is an old school type of fighter. He's got the technique, but it's done in a way that's done in an old school frame of mind. He's got good feet, not quick feet. He's got good feet. Good feet are when you know how to take angles. You know how to keep yourself in position. You know how to make sure that you're able to, when you get aggressive and you're trying to put the pressure on somebody, you can turn the ring into a cone where they can't escape except through a funnel that is only directed in a one-way turn. That's it. And you can keep him there. And he can mitigate that jab that Devin Haney's got to a degree that I don't think we've seen before. To a degree that it can be akin to what we saw with Ryan Garcia without PEDs this time. And if Devin Haney is still fighting scared, and if Bill Haney is not letting Devin Haney fight like the real Devin Haney that we know, the one that fought against Lomachenko, the one that fought against Jorge Linares, the one that fought against Kambosos, the one that was seen as a pound for pound top 10 fighter in the world, the one that was undisputed, if he doesn't let him fight like that, he doesn't trust in his son, it's going to be bad. it's going to be really bad for Devin Haney. Because right now, I don't see any way, shape, or form that Devin Haney beats Brian Norman Jr. And we have been talking about this fight for upwards of 4 months, 5 months even, when it first got announced. I cannot find a way that Devin Haney can beat Brian Norman Jr. whenever I go through thinking about this fight. If you can bring a situation to me, come through tomorrow and we'll talk about it. But right now, it's Brian Norman Jr. by KO. Dominant KO. He's become unified at 147. And Devin Haney's going to be in a world of trouble. I'm telling you, he's going to be in a world of trouble. He's going to be in a world of trouble, I guarantee you, on the night of the fight. This ain't a hate. This ain't me trying to say that, oh yeah, he was never that good. No. Up here, the most important aspect in boxing, the 90% mental aspect in boxing, it's a dangerous thing that is going to ruin Devin Haney. Because he still ain't right up here. He's still got the PTSD from Ryan Garcia and the belief in what he is as a fighter, while he still thinks he can beat anybody. How he goes about beating people now, if the Jose Ramirez fight is what he's going to be like going forward, he ain't right. Up here, he ain't right, because he's not fighting like the true Devin Haney that we know, that we've seen, that has put on Fight of the Years against some of the best boxers in history, like against Lomachenko. He ain't right. Not right now. And if he don't get right quick, it's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. But we're going to talk about it more on tomorrow. But we got to get out of here and go on and get on the road and get on home. So with all that being said, there we go. This has been another episode of The Welch with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. We appreciate all of you tuning in and listening to the show. If you're new here, hey, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed everything. Hopefully you loved the conversation. Hopefully you laughed, you learned, you got to get some discourse through. We're going to be back on Friday, tomorrow, doing another show, full-blown championship rounds, where you all drive the conversation absolutely for the entirety of the episode. We're also going to have a situation where, not that. We're also going to be back next week on Tuesday, like we always do, 3 shows every week. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Come on and join the empire. Be sure to leave a like on the video. Comment your thoughts and opinions on what you liked or didn't like about the show. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell and share the show with everybody you know, so we can keep on building on this empire together. If you would like to support the channel and you like what we're doing, please go ahead. We got which way is it? There we go. We got Cash App, we got PayPal, we got links down below in the description. While we don't have monetization yet for super chats and whatnot, we're getting there. But in the meantime, hey, you can support, put some money in my pocket, put some dough into this show, and that will become bigger and better and grander, all for your viewing and listening pleasure. We're available on every podcasting platform, so rate us 5 stars there, wherever you listen to podcasts, and be sure to be back here tomorrow. Same time, same place, same avenue. We're going to be talking about boxing and so much more, and you all got the conversation because it is the championship rounds. But with all that being said, we got to get on out of here. So I've been Jean-Luc Welch. Y'all have been wonderful. Peace and love. Oh, we are out of here. Yes, sir. We're going to see you all on Friday. Be safe, be blessed. Enjoy your day, and we out.